The Outlaws of Thunder Junction may be able to avoid the bankruptcy that happened with Karlov Manor. Now, in today's video, we are going to be discussing some of the amazing spoilers and powerful cards within this set, but we are also having a separate discussion about what's happening for the sales of this sealed product and what players need to know going forward. The Outlaws of Thunder Junction sees the light at the end of the tunnel. Wizards of the Coast may be able to pull out a miracle and find a way to get into your wallet. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today. Now, before we get started in today's video, a reminder, of course, that if you enjoy my content, if you want to see more of the Moxman, to see more of this, all you need to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, as I have new content every single day of the week. Now, for today's video, we have 2 points of conversation. We are going to be covering a lot of what's happening in the sealed market because this is something players need to be aware of. And then the second part of this video is going to be talking about a whole bunch of the spoilers, and in particular spoilers as they relate to a card on the reserve list, which seems to be another improved version of a reserve list card, as well as just some other amazing powerful cards contained within this set. So first off, the sealed market. Whether I agree with the pricing points of Wizards of the Coast, which of course I don't, we have players buying the product. The collector boxes have seen a massive sales surge in the last 24 hours. With the new products coming to market and seeing all these new cards, the spoilers are definitely seeming to spur on the players. And I don't normally have time to look at all these sales, but since today is a day off in Canada, it's our Good Friday before like the Easter long weekend, I got a lot of extra time to put some extra videos together today for all my fabulous viewers out there, but I also got to look and get emails back about all kinds of data entries that I needed to know about how the product is actually selling. Now, just so you guys know, this is only going to relate to the collector boxes and the commander decks. The play booster boxes are just not moving, okay? The players still seem to have a real point, a bone to pick about the point of price for those products. The price point just doesn't fit with what players are willing to pay, but the collector boxes seem to be an entirely different beast, as well as what we're seeing for the commander decks. The commander decks, of course, are selling, I'd say, somewhere about twice as good as what we saw in Karlov Manor so far, from what I've got of all my emails coming in, which is interesting because as a standardized set, I didn't expect to see the commander decks going off this well, but I'm thinking players are going to break some pieces down. Some players are going to put decks together and combo things. So it's just a lot of sales in that area. But the real interesting thing going on is going to be what's happening with collector boxes. The sell-through rate on a whole bunch of the stores and things I deal with was very low. And then I got emails today saying, hey, we sold out. Hey, we're done now. We only had 2 cases. They're all sold out. So before I knew it, within a 24-hour period, I started getting the emails saying they have sold out. Now, again, I will be honest and say this pertains mostly to smaller stores. But if you even look on things like TCG Player, the sell-through rate on these boxes, it's kind of insane to see how well some of these boxes are starting to pick up steam in the last 24 hours. And that, of course, is due to what we've seen with the spoiler season. Some of these cards are they seem so powerful and out of whack that players can't wait to get their hands on them, to modify decks. They're getting whole new construction ideas that just can't be understated to what players will do to have a good time. And when the new set comes out with new ideas, that's what gets people interested. I'm not saying it's all the desert lands and stuff. It's not the theme. It's not the artwork. Those card mechanics matter so much to players that when they can see cards, they can obviously, improve upon a deck by taking an old card out. It doesn't matter. Players see it, and now the sales are starting to show it. And we're not even done with the spoiler season yet. We still have a few days left before this product comes out. And before you see the last of the spoilers, I'm expecting to see another sales surge on these products. Even with the new kind of cards we saw today from the spoiler season, some of these cards are just amazing. They really blow your mind to see what you could do with them. And then seeing another improved upon reserve list card in that pile is something crazy. So let's jump into that. Let me show you this card that we're talking about so you guys can understand where I'm coming from. The first card I want to share with you guys is Claim Jumper, a 1 white, 2 generic, 3/3 Rabbit Mercenary, going to fit in with Bloomborough, but this thing has vigilance. But it says, when Claim Jumper enters the battlefield, if an opponent controls more lands than you, search your library for a Plains card and put it onto the battlefield tapped. And then if an opponent controls more lands than you, repeat this process once. If you search your library, shuffle it afterwards. Now, of course, if we compare this to the Visions card Tithe, it's an instant card that says, search your library for a Plains card. If you control fewer lands than target opponent, you may search your library for an additional Plains card. Reveal those cards to all players, put them into your hand, shuffle your library afterwards. Strictly speaking, Claim Jumper, this Rabbit Mercenary, is far more appealing to me than even Tithe as an instant. Yes, they both could be utilized, and they both will be utilized inside Commander decks for years to come, but the Claim Jumper is a creature that has offense and defense because of its vigilance. It acts as a mercenary and a rabbit, which connects it to Bloomborough, and the fact it's 1 white and 2 generic means it's a well-respected mana cost ratio for a powerful creature card that you can utilize right away. Guys, cards like this, these improved reserve list cards, really get my blood pumping. I love the idea of these cards. I love the fact that players will be able to use abilities that I used back in the day, and even better yet, if you have a Tithe and you have Claim Jumper, you can thin out your deck. Anyway, amazing. Reserve list card. This card's going to be awesome. Now, let's jump over and take a look at our next card. Fake Your Own Death. This is a common. For 1 black, 1 generic, it says, until end of turn, target creature gets +0/+2 and gains. Whenever this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control, and you create a treasure token. So you get the treasure token, you get your creature back, and you manage to pump it up. And if it had trample or some other crazy ability, you really jack this card up to the 9s. The artwork is kind of generic to me. It's not the best, it's not the worst. But cards like this have really been seeing a resurgence in a lot of recent Magic the Gathering sets, which means the better versions of this card will see play for years to come, and they get integrated into a lot of these Black Dredge Commander decks. Like, the idea of faking your own death is an epic thing to think about, right? He came back from his own grave and came back to the battle again. Kind of reminds me of a whole bunch of movies I remember back in the day. But either way, I'm looking at this card as a powerhouse card that's a common. And we've talked about it recently in the last couple of sets, how some of these commons and uncommons are not going to be 25 or 50 cent uncommon commons. They are going to be $4, $5, $6 because Wizards wants the ability to reprint these cards in later sets. But for now, if you happen to get it in an original set, it may be on a far more common track printing run than players expect. And because of that, this is a card you need to be aware of, need to remember, and possibly you at least want to get a play set of 4, especially with the resurgence of what we've seen in Standard, where a lot of players are getting back into Standard, playing these 60-card decks, and having a lot of fun building with these new concepts. Now, our next card is Rush of the Dread. Yet another powerful card with the Spree mechanic. This is a sorcery for 2 black and 1 generic. It has Spree, of course, with +1. Target opponent sacrifices half the creatures they control. Okay. +2. Target opponent discards half of their cards in hand. Hello, Time Twister. And +2 again. Target opponent loses half their life. Are you telling me you're not expecting to see this card in every single deck 4 times over? Are you telling me that this card isn't going to be used in all kinds of amazing Commander decks as well as other formats? This thing is insane. I am loving every single time I see these cards with Spree and also with Plot. The idea of overrunning somebody by casting a whole bunch of these cards at sorcery speed that you may have just kind of been hiding off to the side is amazing. Being able to use these cards at different intervals of the game to give you different powerful outcomes is amazing. I don't have to use it in turn 1, 2, and turn 2, 3. I can use it turn 10, but I can jack it up and ramp up all my mana to pull off some crazy game effects that nobody is going to see coming. Or you can set opponents up to fail by thinking you're casting this, but having other spells in the backdrop with Plot that you can bring in. Guys, I think we are looking at a set that is truly going to be something a little bit more game-changing than people realize, and you need to pay attention to this. There's so many cards that are going to be spread across so many sets that I think Wizards of the Coast is really on to something here. Now let's get to our next card. This one, of course, I'm expecting to see a lot of play in Standard, but also in Commander. This is Geralf, the Fleshwright. 1 blue, 2 generic for a 2/3. Okay, it's a human warlock, but it says, whenever you cast a spell during your turn, Other than your first spell that turn, create a 2/2 blue and black zombie rogue creature token. Okay, whenever a zombie enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter for it on each zombie that entered the battlefield under your control this turn. Think about how that will work in a commander deck. If you're pumping out all kinds of armies of the dead, having Geralf out there is going to make things epically insane. The hordes of the dead are coming back. I used to think of Liliana as being this ultimate necromancer, and then I look at Geralf and I go, man, you got some stones on you. You're ready to rock this one out and bring it home. This is an amazing card. Now, we're not done yet. Here's a card that I think is just broken. This is Radicos Joins Up. Now, this is a huge mana cost, okay? It's 3 + 1 black, 1 red, legendary enchantment. When Radicos Joins Up enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. And don't forget, Radicos in this one is also a mercenary, so all kinds of mercenary cards are going to work with this too, but this is a huge thing, but it's the second power that people are going to underestimate. Whenever a legendary creature you control dies, Radicos Joins Up deals damage equal to that creature's power to target opponent. Now, I understand somebody's like, okay, there's all kinds of these legendary creatures dying. You're going to kill them off one at a time, but there are ways of blowing up all your own creatures. You could have 6 or 7 small to mid-sized guys holding off your opponent, and you depopulate, you do something to board wipes your own stuff, but they all deal damage across the battlefield to your opponent. You're going to have 6 or 7 creatures with power 2 or 3. They're going to take 20, 30 damage. I don't think people are seeing that. I hope they are paying attention to the power level of some of these cards. Because the way I'm going to use these things, I don't even play black-red normally. Oh, I'm building this deck. I'm going to mess people up. I'm going to have fun with this on standard night. It is going to be hilarious. And you think I'm not going to put this inside my commander deck? This is definitely going in my Throwbold commander deck. I can't wait to add cards like this in. This is insane, okay? Love it. Wizards of the Coast, you're on to something. I'm telling you, this is just crazy. Now, I'm not sure what all of you are thinking when you look at these spoilers. You might think they're just perfectly logical and fine cards. They're great. You might think, hey, it's great to see there's some sales increasing. The set's really not that bad, Moxman. This set is going to be very good. It may not get the sales attention because of the Western motif, but the cards contained within this are going to be found in a whole multitude of standard decks, and a whole host of commander decks are going to start utilizing a lot of the cards found within this set. Wizards has definitely stepped up the game here, at least in my opinion, on how I'm looking at how I would use some of these cards. Now, if you guys have great ideas for any of the cards shown or cards that I've missed, I want you to put that down in the comment section, add that stuff in. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by, thanks for hanging out, and Wizards of the Coast, I didn't expect it. At this late in the game, I didn't expect it, so what can I say? Maybe I was wrong about this set. Maybe things didn't hash out the way the Moxman thought. Other than the price still sucks. Guys, it's got something. I'll see you guys soon. Have a great day. Hey guys, a big shout out and thank you. All of these extra videos today are made possible because of the patrons. Because of the YouTube membership members, all the additional bonus videos today are because of them. Because of the support we get on the channel, daily uploaded content is made possible, and we will step it up whenever we can to make sure everyone on this channel has a great time. Thanks again to everyone. Wow. Guys, this stuff is blowing my mind. I'm loving it now. I don't know what it is. Maybe just because I have a day off and I'm looking at these cards in a different way. But it's got the blood pumping, man. I can't wait to try this stuff out. Let's get to the Thunder Junction. Let's get to the OK Corral and see where's Doc Holliday? Give me Doc Holliday. Where is Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday? Give me something. This is crazy. This was the Ramble Jamble, brought to you by, honestly guys, it's the amazing patrons here. All these bonus videos are for you. Okay, you're the ones who support this channel each and every day. I have regular viewers, sure, but you're the ones who actually make it possible. So thanks again for supporting the channel. Thanks for being here every day, tuning in, giving the videos a thumbs up, and making it a great day in the world of Magic the Gathering. Don't forget, bring a friend to Magic. I'll see you guys soon, because tomorrow, of course, is the top 10. And I've just started doing the counts for that, and it looks like it's going to be a saucy one. I'll see you guys soon.